Hi guys, welcome back to another tutorial. It's Peppy Styling here. If you want to learn how I made this beautiful pants, keep on watching. If you're new to my channel, you're welcome. To my returning subscribers, you're welcome back. Without wasting much time, let's get right into the video. So here I've rolled my starting line, which will be serving as the waistline, and then I'm subtracting 1 inch for the band. Then I marked my waist to hip line, waist to crotch line, and how to get your crotch line is your hip divided by 4. Then I marked my waist to knee line and the full length of the pants, okay? And then I'm going to roll a straight line across all the marks. So this is the waist, hip line, crotch line, knee line, and the full length. So on the crotch line, I'm going to mark my hip divided by 4. The hip I'm working with is 44 divided by 4 is 11. Then I marked it here and I added 1.5 for seam allowance. You can also work with 1 inch, okay? So I marked the same thing on the hip line, just like so. Then I'm going to divide these 2 points by 4. I'm just going to fold my tape twice and then I fold it again. And what I have was about 3 inches and I marked it on that point. That will be the crotch extension. So whatever I have on the hip line, I'm going to subtract 1 inch from it and I will place it on my waistline. Then I'm just going to make a mark there and connect it to meet the hip line. Just like so. Then coming over to this point, I'm going to extend my tape by 0.75 here. Now I'll make a mark there and I'll connect like so using my curved ruler. Coming over to the waistline, I'm going to measure 1/4 of the waist circumference. I'm just going to mark it here and then I'll add extra 1.5 for seam allowance. Then I'll connect it to meet the hip line. Next is to divide these 2 points by 2. So I'm going to place my tape like so and I will divide it by 2 and make a mark there, okay? So whatever I have there, I'm going to mark the same thing all the way to the hemline. So I'm just going to mark it on the knee line and I will mark it all the way to the hemline, and then I will connect it with a straight line, just like so. So now that we've done that, coming over to the knee line, place your round knee measurement. So whatever you have as your round knee measurement, you're going to divide it by 2. And you will divide that number by 2 again because you're going to be placing it on both sides of that green line. So that's just what I did here. I'm going to mark it here and also mark here. And on both sides of that mark, I'm going to be adding 0.75. Remember, we're working with 1.5 inch seam allowance, so I'm just going to share it on both sides. Next, I'm going to connect from the crotch to meet the knee and also connect the parts to meet the crotch line, just like so. So we won't be using a straight line here. We're going to use a slight curve, just like so, okay? So I'm just going to connect it, and also we're going to connect this part, just like so. So moving on to the hemline. So now the wideness of this part is totally optional. You can decide to take the entire folded fabric, but for me, I'll be taking 6 inches on both sides of that green line, making it a total of 12 inches. Okay, you can decide to take the whole folded part, okay? It's totally up to you. So now I'm going to mark the same thing on the folding allowance, that's the hemming allowance. And then I'm just going to connect this to meet the knee line. On the waistline, I'm going to come down one slide 1 inch on this part. This helps the waist to relax properly. Then I'm just going to connect it back to meet this point here, just like so. The next thing is to cut this. And this is what the front piece looks like. So moving on to the back, here I folded my fabric and I'm going to get the front, placing it on top just like so. I'm going to leave some space here, and the top part as well. So now the next thing I will do is to extend the line. I'll extend the hip line, the crotch line, knee line, the full length. I'll also do the same on this other side. So coming on to the waistline, I'm going to go inwards from the center front by 1 inch. And on that point, I'll go up by 2 inches from this point. I'll go up by 2 inches, but if you're on a bigger size, maybe you're a plus size, make it 2.5. So I'm just going to put the mark here. From that point, I'm going to measure quarter of my waist circumference. I'm just going to mark it here. Okay, so I forgot to also extend my waistline, so I'm just going to do that here. Okay, so I'll be taking this again from the center front. So going to go inwards by 1 inch, take it up by 2 inches, and from that 2 inches mark, going to measure quarter of your waist circumference, which mine is 8.5. So I'm just going to mark it here, and I added extra 1 inch for seam allowance. So from the hip line, we're going to be adding 1 inch seam allowance all the way to the hemline. So I'm just going to mark it 1 inch hip on the crotch, the knee line, and I'm going to take it all the way to the hemline. And I'm going to connect all the marks. On this other side, on the crotch line, I'm going to come down by ½ inch on this crotch line. Okay, and I will just mark it just like so. Then for the crotch extension for the back, I'm going to mark 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches is very okay on that second line. That's where I'm marking it. Then on this part, I'm going to go up by either, you can go up by 0.75 or 1 inch. So I'll be going up by 0.75. I'm just going to connect those 3 marks from the waistline to meet the crotch curve. So you can also use your curved ruler to do that. Okay. From the knee line, I'm going to be adding 1 inch seam allowance all the way to the hemline, just like we did for the other side. And then I'm just going to connect it. And from that crotch, we're going to connect it to meet the knee line using a slight curve, just like so. And that is basically it for the back pattern. I'm not adding that to this pant, not to the front nor the back. Okay, this is a dartless pant, but it's going to fit very well. So here is the back. Okay, coming over to the front, I didn't realize my phone wasn't recording. That's how I had that pocket mark. So on the waistline, I came inwards by 1.5, and then I connected to meet the hip line, just like so. You can either use a slant, a straight line, or a curve, just like I did here. Okay, so this is for the pocket. Okay, so now I'm going to set this aside and grab my pocket piece. So I have this piece of fabric. Unfold, the length is about 11 inches and unfold is 8 inches. Okay, 11 inches long and 8 inches unfold. So I have 2 pieces for the 2 pockets. Okay, so there are 2 ways you can go about this pocket. You can either cut this folded part open, or you're going to stitch it back when fixing the pocket. Okay, so but me, I usually leave the folded part unfold. Okay, so I'm just going to place these 2 on top like so, right side facing each other, and I will grab the front just like you see me doing, like so. I'll place it on top, then I'm going to cut through this line, and when I'm done, this is what I have. I'm just going to separate this and set the pockets aside for now. So now the first thing I will do now is to go and stitch this part with ½ inch. Okay, and I'll also grab the back piece, and I'll also go and stitch along this part with ½ inch. And this is what I have when I'm done. I'm gonna head to stitch this part. Then I'm going to open this part up. This is the front piece, and I will grab my pocket. So for each one, I'm going to place it I'll place it right sides facing each other. So the right side of the pocket facing the right side of the pants. Okay, I'm going to go and join here with 1/2 inch and top stitch on the pocket. And I'll also do the same for this other side, placing it right side facing each other. And I'll go and join here with 1/2 inch, open this up and top stitch on the pocket. So this is what I have when I'm done. And another thing I did is I used hemming gum to hold here. I just placed hemming gum under it, so that by the time I fold this into iron, that part is going to relax very well. But we're going to come back to that later. So now I'm going to fold this up like so. So remember when I was cutting the pocket piece, I said you can cut this folded part open. So it's at this point that you're going to stitch from here and close it back. But because I didn't cut my open, okay, I'm just going to fold this like so and stitch only this part, okay. And then I'll do the same thing for this part as well. I'm going to place it like this and go and stitch with 1/2 inch. So this is what I have when I'm done. So now the next thing I'm going to just do is to push this inwards, making sure that it lies flat, and then I'm going to go and iron. So now the hemming gun that I will place on this part will help this place to lay flat when you iron it. So this is what I have when I'm done ironing. As you can see, our pocket has formed already. This is what it looks like on the inside, okay. Next thing I'm going to do is to trim off this part. You can see we have a little excess on this waist part, so I'm just going to trim it just like so. Now I'm going to grab the back. This is the back, and we'll place the front on it just like so. And we'll be closing the sides with our 1.5 seam allowance, except for the waistline, because we already took 1/2 inch to sew the crotch line, okay. So for the waistline we're going to be using 1 inch seam allowance, and for the rest I'll be using 1.5 seam allowance. Then you're going to grab these two sides to be equal, then we're going to go and close it up. So this is what I have when I'm done. So for on one side I use loose stitch to sew all the way to the hip line, because I'll be fixing the zipper to that side. Next I'm going to spread this part, and I'm going to grab these 2 points to match each other. I'm going to make sure that the 2 lines aligns with the other, and then I'm just going to use my pen to hold it first, and then I'm going to grab this part. Okay, so there are 2 ways you can close up the side, okay. So you can either take your round tie measurement, like measure like 1.5 from this crotch point, and then you place your round tie. That's if you have your round tie measurement. But if you don't have, how I usually stitch mine is from the hemline, okay. I'm going to sew from here with 1 inch, and when I get to the knee line, as I'm approaching this crotch line, I'm going to reduce it down to 1/2 inch, okay. Then I'll do the same thing for this other side as well. I'll stitch all the way to the knee line with 1/2 inch, and from that knee line I'll extend it to 1 inch all the way to the hemline. Okay, so I'm going to take this again. From the hemline I'm going to be closing with 1 inch. When I get to the knee line, I'm going to reduce it as I'm approaching the crotch line to 1/2 inch, and I will do the same thing the other side as well. And this is what we have when I'm done. As you can see how beautiful the pant is coming up already, and I'm also gone ahead to iron it properly. So the next thing now is to measure around the waistline. We'll be using it to cut the waistband. So here I'll be drafting it on this pattern paper. I'm just going to rule a straight line, and whatever we got, we'll measure around the waistline of our pant. We're just going to get it here and divide it by 2, because we'll be cutting this on fold. Okay, so we're going to place the measurements here, and on that mark I'm going to go upwards by 2 inches, and then I'm going to divide these 2 points by 2, and I'll place the points here. I will connect these 2 using a curved ruler. So now this curved line is the waistline. Now I'm just going to remeasure that our waist divided by 2. So now the width of your band is totally up to you. For me, I'll be making it 1.5. So I'm just going to mark it all around the curve just like so, and on this part I'm just going to slant it to meet this part just like so, and then I'm going to cut this. So remember, this thing is on fold, okay. and this is basically it for the waistband. I'm just going to label it waistband, and I'll be cutting this on the main fabric. So this is what I have. I added 1/2 inch on the top and on the downside. I'll take out my pattern paper, and this is what it looks like. So I've also gone ahead to cut a second piece because we'll be cutting 2 of this. Okay, and this is the second one. So now I'm going to go and add interfacing to this. So here I've added my interfacing, and I added just 1. Okay, you can decide to add on both sides, it's totally optional. Okay, so I'm going to place this right sides facing each other, and I'll go and stitch on this side with 1/2 inch. And this is what I have when I'm done. Opening it up, this is what it looks like. So as you can see, I folded this place in by 1/2 inch, and I used my hemming gum to hold it down. Okay, just on that side. Next, I'm going to grab the pant. I'm going to be matching the center of this waistband to one side of the pant. Okay, and I will be stitching from inside out. Okay, so I'm just going to place, I've already opened up this side. I'll be attaching my zipper to, so I'm just going to place this center on the side from inside, and I'm going to hold it down with pin all around from this side, and I'll hold the other side as well. And I'm going to go and stitch this with 1/2 inch. So here I've done that. I've gone ahead to sew this down. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'll flip this over this way backwards, and I'll go and stitch here. Okay, so what I did is I flipped it this way. I'll go and stitch this place, and I'll also do the same for this other side. I'll flip it this way and stitch, and when I'm done, I'm going to bring this forward. Okay, and I'll go and stitch very close to this folded side. Part that we held with hemming gum will help to make this stitching easy, and this is what I have when I'm done. You can see how beautiful the waistband is looking. This is the best way to stitch your waistband. It relaxes very well. I've also gone ahead to fix my zipper to the side. So the next thing now is to go finish up the hem of the trouser. And that is it for this tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.